So what does it take to get into one of the top alliances in the game? As one of the leaders for War Gods, let me fill you all in. Hey guys, Cryptik here and welcome back. Today I want to talk to you guys about War Gods. We're one of the top alliances in the game, and as one of the leaders for War Gods, something I've noticed over my time as a leader here is the amount of messages we get from players in the game who want to join us and maybe don't quite understand what the requirements are for joining a top alliance, let alone War Gods. So I want to address that today to try and give people a heads up of what we look for. And this really isn't just pertaining to War Gods. Many other top alliances have similar type requirements and react similarly to how in-game players will message their officers. So what I mean by that is officers in top alliances don't necessarily have the time to sift through every single message that we get. And we typically get a lot of messages every day or even every week of players wanting to join us. So the best case is to know what the requirements are to be in one of these top alliances. And then if you're in the same league as one of these alliances, to then show them what you're capable of. Don't just say I can do this, show them. I know for us, and something that I personally like to do, when I get messages from players, one of the very first things I'll do is I'll go, click on their profile and visit them if they're in the same league. And if they're in the same league and I visit them and I notice that either they don't fit our requirements right off the bat, or I also sometimes will look at their stats in the current season, and if they're underperforming, even below average or even average, typically I don't even respond. I don't have the time at that point. I've just, not in a bad way, but I've already kind of wasted some of my time. Instead of grinding for VP or for souls, I was trying to figure out, hey, is this player, do they fit the requirements? So to help you guys out and to understand what War Gods looks for, I want to tell you guys a little bit of the requirements that we will typically like to see. The first one is your player level. We typically like to look for player levels 27 and above. The reason being is player level, when looking at in conjunction with the castle level, can determine how active a player is throughout their course of the game. In other words, if you have a higher player level and a lower castle level, chances are you're a very active player, and that's something we really like. So we typically look for the player level of 27 or above, and when it comes to castle level, we like to look for somewhere around 17 or 18 and above. And like I said, the castle level is really, one, we want players that are more into the late game stages of Dawn of Titans, and then two, to have a 27 player level or above, you are going to be around castle level 17 or 18, and if you're below that, means you're pretty dang active. And so then we might actually look at bringing you on, or at least bring you into the next phase of the recruitment process. The third thing that we look for is your activity. If you're in the same league as us, and like I said, what I personally do is I'll go and visit your garrison, look at your stats in the current season. We like to do that. We like to look at your activity and see, are you capable of doing what we need you to do to be part of this alliance, to be part of this family? So my advice to anyone that wants to join us, that's watching this video, if you fit the first two requirements of your player level and castle level, and you end up in the same league as us, before you message one of the officers that you want to join, show us what you're capable of. And towards the end of the season, send us a message and say, hey, I'm interested in joining you guys. Look at my stats. Something like that. That shows us more than just messaging us and begging us to join. A lot of those messages honestly tend to be ignored. So those are the main three things that we look for. If you're not in the same league as us, if you find a way to get in contact with us, or if you know someone in the line app that knows us, try and get in communication with one of the officers and take screenshots at the end of your season to show us in line what you are capable of. That's going to be one of the biggest factors into who we bring in as a recruit. So once we like what we see, we then move into the next phase of the recruiting process, and that's actually our recruitment chat. So when you're first invited to the Line Apps recruitment chat, the most important thing to look at first is our notes section. And in our notes section, we have the very first note is basically a breakdown of all major things that you should be aware of. And so the first major thing that you should be aware of is basically our breakdown of each of our alliances. Now you can see here we call them our teams. Basically each team is its own alliance. I will preface this with we're currently going through kind of like a slight name change. Rather than just being called War Gods and War Gods 2, War Gods 3, in like a number hierarchy, we're actually changing it to you're going to have your regular War Gods is going to be our VP grinding alliance. You're going to have War God Events, which is our main event alliance, and then War God Killers are basically our training squad to produce the next generation of Team 1 and Team 2 fighters. And to round it out, our Team 4 is still working on their name, but it'll be something like War God Builders or War God Farmer, something like that. And they're basically our building alliance for players that are wanting to try and quickly go up in castle level. And so because War Gods is a family, we offer something unique in the sense that you have multiple alliances within the War God family, and each alliance has its own mandates. And so that means that you can pick which alliance you want to be in depending on what kind of player you are. You are not automatically forced into our Team 1, and if you want to just do events only, you can sign up and go into Team 2. So because we're a family with these alliances and each of them kind of their own, what this means is from week to week, we offer a sign-up process. And in other words, you go into the main family chat, the leaders will post their sign-up sheets on the notes section, and you will go in and sign up on the notes which team you want to be in for next week. And Team 1 has a unique caveat to it in the sense that you are not signing up, you are actually making a bid for a VP commitment. We always have more than 50 players in the family wanting to be on the VP grinding team on Team 1. And so we take those who can actually get the most amount of VP. So you make a bid based on how much VP you can do without VP lands. If you do not make that VP commitment, we do remove you off of Team 1. So it is always best to make your bid based off of what you can do through just attacks alone. If you make a commitment of, say, 5 million VP for the season, and you have VP lands the entire season, then you will more than likely get over that. So as long as you make your commitment and you bid high enough, you will make it on Team 1. For the other teams, you make commitments based on those team mandates. So the event team, you make a commitment when you sign up for Team 2 to do 5,000 souls. And then War God Killers has two smaller requirements, such as they expect you to do 2 million VP at the end of the season, and they also expect you to get 2,000 souls in the middle of the event, you should be at 1,000. So when you sign up for War God Killers, those are your requirements to meet. The next major section of our recruiting note that you'll notice is a list of questions and steps that we ask you to complete before we make a final decision. You'll see here it's anything ranging from where are you actually from in real life, not from the game, your primary attacking titan, defending titan, how much VP, how many souls you can earn, stuff like that. We also ask you to complete some steps, such as read our rules document, which we have put together in a Google document. And then also make sure your line ID is similar to your in-game name. We also have you add a timestamp to your line ID as well. Since this is an international game and our family is international, we have people from all over the world in our family. By putting the timestamp, we know roughly what time of the day it is for you, which is really just needed more for planning purposes on the much more competitive teams that we have. And then the final step is really just adding our tag to your in-game name. Once that's complete, you'll leave our recruitment chat and you'll be welcomed into the family. So that just about wraps up this video on what War Gods looks for in recruits and what our recruiting process is like. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a question in the comment section below. I'm also going to be adding my line ID to the description for this video, so feel free to message me on the Line app. I also want to give a shout out to War God Striker, who did the awesome art at the beginning of this video. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please feel free to give me a like. And also, if you want to see more videos by me, I got plenty more coming out, so also hit that subscribe button. I'm hoping to get my next video done by the end of this weekend. It's going to be focused on the different classes of Titans and why certain classes are better than others. You guys take it easy.